Welcome back to the Wisely Podcast, everyone. I'm Graham.
And I'm Nick.
Wow, what a year it's been. Our first, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Season?
I would say season.
That's fair. First year. What a great opportunity. Not to brag, but like, seriously, it's unbelievable that I started this.
I really like what we've done so far this year. And I thought the podcast was a great idea, Graham, and I hope we continue it next year.
Oh, for sure. Oh, my God. Everyone keep listening.
Yeah, definitely. I hope we do more things along the lines of what we did with Java Live and interviewing Sleeveless Jacket.
Yes.
Like more kind of interviews and in-depth things like that. And it's just great
interesting to do,
to try to update people with
and
what's
also
happening.
I don't want to continue, I want to continue what we've done, but, like, if we're continuing, like, the same aspects of the school, we'll either lose viewers or have the same viewers. I want to gain more.
We should look at different things. Like, we did a lot of the music department this year,
Yes.
so maybe next year we could do something else. Maybe we'll do the interview with the law team or something like that, or something.
That'd be something
different.
interesting to do.
Something like that.
Or like speech, that'd be something.
Or
interesting.
sports, possibly. We could interview some athletes, maybe about what's happening, or maybe we could interview a teacher that is a coach or something like that.
Yeah, like if there's a new class starting, we could talk to them about what it is.
Exactly.
It would be something interesting to cover, I think.
Exactly.
So, these are not set in stone plans. So if we mention something you're interested in, we'll try to cover it. But that's just an idea we have. Food Friday, I'd like to start where we review restaurants
in the area, like
or maybe it's a short segment. I was thinking it could be a segment to each episode.
In each episode, we could do that like a few minutes,
like a 5 minute max 5 minute. Yeah. That'd be something interesting to do. Yeah, I'd like to do more restaurants.
And also,
we haven't done that at all, actually.
We haven't done any restaurants, and there's a lot of cool new things in Elmhurst coming out. So I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
also,
there's a lot of cool restaurants like Curito,
I haven't been there yet, but I was looking at the menu yesterday of Curito. It looks good.
Isn't there bubble tea? There's Sweetberry Bowls.
There's
a
new Asian restaurant south of the tracks, Ni Hao. That could be good.
And there's I don't know what it's called. It's like the morning chicken. It's a breakfast.
Egg Harbor.
No, it's, I don't know, it's like something about the chicken. The early hen, I think.
Okay. Also, another thing that we were talking about a different day is we should try to have more of a schedule this time.
Yes.
Because it's been kind of erratic with the upload, so I think maybe we want to try for like every 2 weeks or something like that.
Bi-weekly is
bi-weekly. That I think that's a good idea, too. Because we've been releasing kind of on a similar schedule, but it's skipped over a couple weeks here and there.
Yeah.
Or we've had some times where it might be
I know, there was a huge skip where it was just a month. It's just because
stuff was going on.
Yeah.
But we could also just record them in advance, too.
Yeah.
So it's more like a little bit more consistent, too. So,
anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an amazing year. I don't want to say it's due to you viewers, but we do have some good views. Seriously, it's the fact that we have listeners is phenomenal.
It really is. I think it's great that people are trying to, figure out what's happening at York and are taking an interest in our podcast a little bit. And maybe we could do a little bit more in the realm of like advertisement. Maybe we could even do a little segment on YTV or something like that. Because they did mention it, which was good, actually.
A few times, yeah, I know. Maybe
one of my
we can get a spot on the announcements. Yeah.
We could do a spot on the announcements.
Maybe we could get like posters by the bathrooms.
Yes, or like on those poster boards by the water fountains.
Yeah, the water fountains.
Yeah, we could do posters.
I think student council does that. Maybe
they do that. Okay, so we can always apply for that. And I think it's good too.
Because I think getting the word out is much better because we're only getting like max 100 views. No, max 50 views per episode. Which is a bit unfortunate, but the fact that we still have viewers is amazing.
It's good. And, a lot of people check the York website, and it's great that we have our own tab that says podcast, I think, on the top now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, extremely grateful for that.
We got to get more people to actually click on it. So maybe we could do even an article about the podcast or what it's about. Or something like that, or even an advertisement in the print newspaper, like for York. You know what I'm talking about? So
I mean York
the magazine,
High?
York High.
HI, not...
Yes, that could be good too.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different things we could do to try to get the word out. But I think maybe more interaction with students. We could do something along the lines of like interviewing people about what they think of a class. So we'll have like multiple.
That'd be
different
interesting.
segments.
Yeah.
So we could do something like during the school day. We could interview people.
Like there's some specific classes that nobody gets to take. Like I don't know, but like just to mention like. Is like text, technology, and literature. No.
Like philosophy.
No, philosophy. That's an interesting class, but I think one of the lesser known is like text, technology, and literature. I think
a lot of the senior like English electives are like weird, and people or like social studies electives.
They're
are
not
kind of
weird, but
not weird, but a lot of people don't take them. Like a lot of people at York don't even know military history exists, but it's like an interesting class.
Same with Shakespeare, because I wanted to take I had an interest in taking Shakespeare, didn't even run because nobody was interested.
Yes, and that happens a lot. Like, for example, I was at my counselor the other day, and I wanted to do maybe beginner piano with Mr. Gemko, but it's not running this year because even though he wanted it to happen or whatever, there wasn't any people that were interested. So that's kind of what happens with a lot of classes. So it's good to try to get the word out because a lot of people might have an interest in something, but they don't really know how to untap their potential at York because they don't know that there's opportunities that exist. So.
And to the teachers' schedules, because they need at least they need a lunch and they need a free period.
Exactly, yeah.
Or a planning period, whatever it's called. Anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an amazing year. Grateful to interview all the different artists and teachers. Extremely amazing.
Yeah, that's what I kind of hope to do moving forward is more interviews and more interaction, because I thought that was cool when we did, especially with Sleeveless Jacket, because we interviewed them multiple times, and we also did Austin another time at Java Live.
Unfortunately, our first 5 episodes were just us.
Yes,
and I think our second half we're delving deep because we did Fine Arts Week, we did Sleeveless Jacket for the York Album Project, we did Java Live, something to do.
We could definitely do like York Album Project again, but I don't really know if it's such a good idea to do more than the
I don't want to repeat.
Yeah.
Don't want to repeat anything that we've done.
Yes, but except of maybe the York Album Project because it's going to be different, like musicians.
Yeah,
so maybe that.
Interview different people if you want to promote it. Yeah,
because Sleeveless Jacket's done anyways, but because they're seniors, or some of them are. But I get what you're saying. We shouldn't just be repeating the same thing because we have to expand our viewer base. So maybe something with athletics because we haven't done anything with sports.
Definitely a great way to tap into more viewers,
especially if there's a team that's up and running rising, and they have a possibility of making it to state. So
many different teams make it to state. Because I think the law team made it to state.
Oh, they won, right?
Yeah, they didn't win. Well, they got second. Or maybe it wasn't nationals. I don't know. They placed 13th, which is great.
Yes.
I mean, and what was it last year? I think wasn't it the competitive dance team they got first in state?
And also like cross country, not in the last few years, but they did have a long streak of making it to state consistently. So we could do more with that, and also just trying to seek out more individuals that are doing cool stuff around York.
Yeah.
Different volunteering stuff or whatever, stuff like that. So
that'd be something interesting about like National Honor Society or
we could do an NHS episode, or Key Club is also something that a lot of people participate in.
I don't know what other ones there's, like Interact, Raise. I don't know what those
Empower is kind of similar. They do some volunteering with more political
I think
things.
Those three are there's then I don't know, Interact's kind of like that's Rotary. That's Rotary. That's International Exchange Program. I'm sorry. Yes. There is the Global Leadership Summit in 2 years.
Oh, is that the thing in Europe somewhere?
Yeah, they're going to Switzerland and Spain, I think.
Aren't a lot of students going? It's not just limited to a certain club or something. It's
no.
Everyone's
it's freshmen and sophomores because they'll be going in senior year.
But what percentage of people do you think are going? Because it's probably pretty expensive, right? So it's probably a few $1,000s or something crazy.
I know there's been a lot on the announcements about it.
Yeah, it's kind of strange because we a lot of people get kind of jealous when they look at the younger people that have more opportunities, but I really think it's a good thing that we're always improving with our education and what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of strange
because I've never heard of a high school. I mean, I'm sure
going overseas.
As a class, which is that's cool. I mean, I'm not going, but still, that's cool.
It is really cool, and I'm not really jealous of it. I think it's great to see progress moving on. So if I have kids and I still live in Elmhurst, they can have even more opportunities, and because York will remain a great school, I'm very confident of that. We have one of the best schools in the state, and it's also kind of one of those things where when I was at Bryan, we didn't actually have an 8th grade trip. A lot of the time, middle schools will do an 8th grade trip to Washington D.C. or something. Yeah. Our school didn't, and they did it in the past, so I'm kind of disappointed about that.
Yeah, my 8th grade trip, we just went to a campsite. I mean, it was fun. I'm not saying it wasn't.
Oh, we did outdoor ed, but that's different. That's kind of that was.
But it's still the point. It's an 8th grade trip because the 8th grade after me, they went to space camp.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, which is in Alabama, which is oh my god.
That's far.
Yeah.
But I think the whole thing of having a really really cool trip, like the National Leadership Summit or is International Leadership
Global
Summit.
Leadership Summit.
Global Leadership Summit. That is really cool opportunity because it's something that you're always going to remember, and for many people, it's going to be their first time traveling outside of the country, so they're going to learn a little bit more about different cultures. Yeah, most of the people I've just
talked to, not to a specific club, but in general. Haven't traveled abroad. Well, abroad to a different country internationally.
Yes, and it's one of those things where education isn't just about learning the subjects, but it's about gaining new opportunities and learning about different cultures and things you might have not experienced before. So that's why I think the Global Leadership Summit is a really excellent opportunity, and something really great that they've started recently. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so having a program like that is really outstanding for York to do.
It really is.
No matter the cost. But moving on to a different topic, it's just been wow.
The first year of the podcast has been really great. I've learned a lot about the different people we've interviewed, the different teachers and club leaders, and also just talking about different topics related to York. And I hope to do a little bit more of that and branch out to different topics next year.
Yeah. So even though some of the stuff we mentioned in our very first episode never really came to fruition, we hope that some of the stuff we did mention does come. We still hope it does come to fruition.
Was that the planning episode that I couldn't go to? Okay, so we still have some notes from that. Hopefully.
Yeah, but yeah, keep listening, people. I mean,
definitely.
Seriously, I just wanted to bring not journalism, because that's speaking for the entire page, but still, it's like bringing a new aspect of the school and into the modern age, because not people...
Exactly. A lot of people don't really like reading. They would prefer to put on a podcast and listen to it while they're doing homework.
I mean, audiobooks have become super popular.
They have.
Audible.com.
Yeah. So, it's a lot different than reading an article or something, because it's more interactive and you feel like you're listening to a conversation. Podcasts are almost like radio shows.
Yeah.
We did
not are, but still.
Yes. We did a project about podcasts in American Studies where we had to report a podcast, and they taught us about the origins and stuff like that. And I think it's something that's a really great option. Like, I've actually had a few people tell me that they've listened to our podcast while they were doing homework, and they liked it, because that's kind of what podcasts are.
Yeah,
it's not something you need to focus on.
It depends on the mood of it, but they are good, cool things to listen to.
Exactly, and I think it's definitely a cool opportunity, and I definitely think viewers should continue to listen, because it's only going to get better from here, and we're going to keep improving and bringing more interesting and new ideas to the table.
Yeah, the more you hear from your viewers, like the more you know, like what works, what doesn't work.
Exactly. So. Yeah. So if you have any feedback, and you see us around, tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a wide variety of podcasts out there. Like, there's true crime, supernatural,
a lot of history or political. I've listened to a lot of political podcasts.
Pod Save America.
Yeah, Pod Save America.
And That's Why We Drink. That's a cool supernatural one. Blockbuster Pod, which is about not necessarily about movies, but it's about the story of like Steven Spielberg, and George Lucas. So I mean, there's Daily Planet, or was it Weekly Planet, that does movies. But I mean, seriously,
it's definitely an
interesting. There's so many.
A very interesting topic, and that's kind of what I have to say. It's almost like a radio show, but it's more like a conversation. It's like you're listening to a kind of in-depth conversation. I think podcasts really shouldn't have a lot of preparation or reading from scripts, because...
Well, it depends what it is.
Like, it does depend what it is.
Like, there are radio shows that people... Like, radio plays that people read scripts off
That's different, though. Right. But, like, in a true podcast, I think, should be more of a conversation. There should be a topic you're talking about, maybe a couple notes. But when you're reading off of a script, like what happened with this project that we did in this one history class, American Studies, a lot of people just ended up writing scripts. And it
depends. I know, like,
most people.
Often you see that the conversation, I don't want to say trails off, but like branches off to different directions, and you just go off script.
It's more natural. That's how a conversation should flow.
Conversation.
It shouldn't just be a typed script that's just, this happened in this year or whatever. Which it
was like just like one of those true crime podcasts that's like a narrator telling you what's going on. Then stick to the script. But if it's like the one that I listen to, and That's Why We Drink, it's more of a conversation between two girls who talk about like this true crime, supernatural, like Mothman or Bigfoot. It's like they talk about it, and that adds more, because it's like provides not just like some narrator just listing off facts. It's more of them talking about it and interpreting the story.
I completely agree. You shouldn't know exactly what you're going to say before it happens. You should be learning things as it happens. Like with a true crime thing, they're realizing things and looking at the case kind of as the podcast occurs, even though they have an idea of what it might be, though. And I haven't listened to any true crime podcasts, but that does sound pretty interesting.
And that's kind of why I chose to do a podcast. This is the first year.
Yes.
Because I had another friend who goes to Newtshire High School, and I think that's in Wilmette. And they actually have their own radio.
Oh, wow.
But, like, I think it's, like, WNTH that you can tune into their... You're lucky it's alive, where they play music. And, you know, there'll be the announcer saying, like, oh, here's our commercial break. And then they... Like, you can actually tune into a live radio, like, it's constantly going.
It's their station? Oh, wow.
Yeah, radio station.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. But, you know, not unfortunately, but... It would be so hard to get one of those at York because you'd probably have to get like a broadcast tower. You'd have to get all the rights and legal documents taken care of. So I just decided to do something simple and more modern, like a podcast, which was just a great idea.
And you know, the thing is,
something so phenomenal.
It's bringing something really new and interesting to journalism in terms of the club, because me and you are both kind of members of the club. And I've written a couple articles, and you've written some articles too. Like recently, you did the Brexit one.
Yes.
And
I'm thinking to do another one as well.
Oh, about maybe Theresa May or something resigning. Yeah, that was today. But you know, it does bring something really kind of interesting because we were both involved in journalism before. And I hope to be even more involved in the future because next year I'm actually doing the class, which is a class you could take, which does count for credit. But if you take advanced, it doesn't count for credit unless you've done the first one. It before, yes, yeah.
But since we've kind of wrapped up most and touched on all aspects of what our year has been, can we just spend a few more minutes just talking about like the past week or so, like in the news? Because there's a few things that I like to discuss. You know, I mean, I don't really want to bring back politics, but I think
Brexit.
It's earlier today, Theresa May, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom of Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, she resigned. Because she wasn't able to get a plan passed for Brexit.
Which seems like an insane crumbling of leadership.
Yeah.
To say, I can't work with Parliament, I can't get this done, so I'm just going to resign and hand it off to someone else.
Yeah, this is like her fourth time had her plan defeated.
Yes, you know, maybe...
By a massive margin.
Maybe it's better for the people of the United Kingdom that, as an ineffective leader, she should hand the torch over to someone who can be... You know, can get stuff done.
Unfortunately, I don't know.
But some of the people are worse, you said earlier, so.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't know much about Boris Johnson or Jacob Rees-Mogg, but from what I've heard, they're, I don't want to say much worse, but they're...
What was the analogy you said earlier?
I'm not going to bring it up. But it's basically saying that Jacob Rees-Mogg is worse, and Boris Johnson looks like Donald Trump.
Oh, no. Okay.
He has crazy hair. He has the same, like, blonde...
It seems like a lot of crazy stuff's happening in the United Kingdom politically with the milkshakings and...
Of Nigel Farage.
Yeah, of Nigel Farage. I also saw a thing about an old man who worked for the Brexit Party at the polls, like a poll watcher, got milkshaked. He was in a suit. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
And also what happened was last Sunday. Yeah, I think it was last Sunday that was Game of Thrones season 8 and series finale. I don't want to talk about it much because I don't think you watch Game of Thrones.
I don't watch it, but I've heard it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean there are some aspects that I'm like, yeah, that was expected, but I don't want to spoil it. But it's just not. They didn't tie. Well, they did tie all loose knots, but like not to fans' expectations.
Yeah. I've heard it just wasn't great. A lot of people are arguing about it. A lot of the 2020 candidates are talking about it to try to engage their viewers. Like, you know how like Beto did the toothbrushing thing or whatever. He went to the dentist to try to like connect.
Oh, that's right.
That was pretty funny.
That's oh my god, that's an interesting. It's a strategy used in campaigning.
Yes, you're trying to connect with people. Yeah,
it's like the common man or something.
Yeah, but you know, he's like saying, I'm a normal person, I'm not a robot. But at the same time, it seems like he's trying to... Yeah. I've seen that one. And, you know, that's a conspiracy
trying
theory.
Trying to present himself as the common man.
Exactly.
I mean, to an extent, they are. They're not robots, but most candidates, I'd say, are funded by corporations.
Yes. Oh, yeah, for sure. You know, for sure, definitely. But
because speech is money?
Speech is money, for sure. Well,
or no money
corporations are people, is what the court case said. Citizens United.
Yes.
So there's a lot of people.
The or is it United? No, it's versus FEC.
Versus FEC. Citizens United was an interest group that wanted to reduce regulations of corporate spending in elections, and it's done a lot of bad things for democracy in terms of transparency, But in terms of, you know, the field, since Biden announced, I don't think the last time we did the podcast about the presidential candidates, Biden did not announce, and now he did, and he's skyrocketed in the polls, so he's probably going to win, I think.
Yeah, so. I think he's going to win the Democratic primary.
Yes. So.
Yeah, I mean, not much has really happened. Those are the most, since we focus on politics. But, interesting things happen in the news, something occasional, interesting will pop up,
In terms of York, I don't think necessarily
all this happened. Also, okay. I think it was this week, Quentin Tarantino's movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood about the cultist Charles Manson.
Oh, I know Charles
Manson. That trailer for the new movie popped up, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It looks like an interesting movie, but
he's an interesting guy. My cousin actually worked for him. She's like some kind of producer or something in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did work in. Yeah, so Leonardo DiCaprio plays this fictional actor Rick Dalton with his stuntman played by Brad Pitt, Cliff Booth, and they somehow get involved with Sharon Tate and Charles Manson. But they present it as an interesting movie, but you can see how that turns into more of like something horrific. So that's an interesting change. Anyways, on a more
Aladdin's out now. That's another thing.
Yeah, on a more positive note, but also a bit more negative because I'm resenting seeing it. But anyways, that's kind of a week recap, I guess you could say. Last week today.
Yeah.
But seriously, what an amazing year it's been. I want to thank all you viewers for listening.
Yes.
Not viewers?
Yes.
Fans.
Listeners. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope...
Please listen next year.
Exactly. We'll probably be starting in late August.
This is York,
right?
I hope. I think we are, yeah.
We'll try to start in late August, early September, towards the beginning of the school year, and we're going to try to keep on more of a consistent schedule. So the first episode of season 2, I guess, we'll probably go into that a little bit more about how it's going to be structured and stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
That'd be better to give us like a schedule.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. This is our last episode.
Of season 1.
Of season 1.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.